What is up, bros and broettes? I'm Inkslasher, and today we're once again going to be talking about Blackout. Today, Blackout got a new update. So not only did we get a playlist update with a new game mode, we also got some changes to armor, and on top of that, a Killcam was added into Blackout. So on top of that, we're going to be talking about a bunch of changes they have announced that they are planning on making to Blackout, but haven't yet done. But we're going to be talking about the entire patch notes throughout this video. Now, the gameplay you're going to be watching here is a game I got earlier today. It's of the new game mode Close Quarters. So basically in this game mode, the only weapons you can use are pistols, SMGs, shotguns, and also the occasional rocket launcher. I didn't use any rocket launchers in this, but this is a 12 kill win. I thought it was pretty solid, so I thought I would show you guys the gameplay. So this patch is called patch 1.08. It is for the entire Black Ops beta, but the main few things that changed were armor. They added kill cams. On top of that, they made a few characters available. But first, I wanted to talk about the new game mode. So as I mentioned, this new game mode is called Close Quarters, and it really does limit the weapons you can use. And in fact, it does really change the way the game is played. Personally, it's not my cup of tea. I do well in it, but I much prefer using those longer range weapons, my ICR, my sniper rifles, but for those players who like those up close and personal battles, this is for you. The thing that I'm really impressed with though is the fact that this is a beta, and every single day they are adding a new game mode to the daily playlist. What this means is just more content that will be available for us. One question I've been getting asked a lot is whether or not I think Treyarch will be doing weekly updates for Blackout once the game is fully released, and based off of what we're seeing here with the daily updates of new playlists, I would say definitely. I think it's going to happen for sure. Now, personally, my favorite playlist that they added in is the one they had yesterday called Fast Collapse. It made it so the storm comes in quicker, and as the zone gets smaller and smaller, the storm does more and more damage. Now, I'm going to talk about this at the end of the video, but the storm in the regular game is actually one of my biggest problems with the game. But like I said, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Now, as far as the rest of this update, the other thing that's pretty big that they added is kill cam. So once you actually go ahead and die in Blackout, you can press X now and it will show you a kill cam of how you died. Now, I think this is pretty good. That way you can see how your opponent got the upper hand on you. It will help you improve. I definitely think this is a good thing. The one thing I don't quite understand is when you go and look at the kill cam, first of all, there is a giant map, and also you can see everyone's gamer tag who is playing in the game spread out throughout the map behind you. I think this is so for an end game. If you die in the end game, you can see where you were surrounded by, if you did the right thing, if you made the right decisions, which I think is a good thing. But when you die early on in the game, the screen is just absolutely covered in gamer tags. So maybe if they could limit that down, maybe you only see the gamer tags within a certain radius around where you died. I think that would work pretty well. Now, the other big thing that they changed in this patch is armor. So a lot of people were complaining that the level 3 armor was too strong. So what they actually did is they nerfed the level 3 and level 2 armor. Now here is Treyarch's exact words of what they did. So level 3 armor will now break sooner and pass more damage to the player wearing it. It still offers headshot and other damage mitigation. Level 2 armor was minorly adjusted as well. In a game where time between first and second shots can be measured in milliseconds, it's key to our design philosophy to be sure you can feel the difference between similar gameplay items. More tuning to come here as we gather data from the beta. So there's a couple things that they're saying there. First of all, you will now take more damage while wearing level 3 armor, and it will break sooner. Basically, it has less health, and you're going to get more damage dealt to you while wearing it. As far as the level 2 armor, they don't say exactly what is changed with it, but it's noticeable that you can't take as much damage as you previously could with it. So armor doesn't protect you from as much damage as it previously did. I think for the most part, this is a good thing. It's definitely a noticeable difference once you actually hop in and play. You don't feel as disadvantaged anymore when going up against someone with level 3 armor. That being said, they still have a pretty large advantage over top of you. I still think the most annoying part of the level 3 armor is that if you're sniping at someone with a level 3 armor and you shoot them in the head, they're still probably not going to die unless they have really, really low health. So as far as that's concerned, I think that needs some adjusting. Personally, I believe if you're using the Paladin, a 50 cal sniper rifle, and you shoot someone wearing body armor in the head, it should still kill them. Maybe not the Koshka, but definitely that Paladin. Also, I think another good indicator to add would be a health bar on the body armor. Maybe not even for your opponent, but for you to see how much more damage it can take before it breaks. I think that would be a nice addition as well. And then the other thing that they changed today is that perks and consumables. So perks, like if you're using Dead Silence or Awareness, they now now take less time to actually use, only 2 seconds. I think this is definitely a good change. It speeds up the gameplay and makes it so that if you're in the middle of a gunfight, you can pop a perk and not be at a huge disadvantage. Yes, you have to take 2 seconds and kind of put your weapon away, but you can still do this in the middle of a gunfight if you want to use something like Dead Silence. And in fact, I do that at the very end of this gameplay to get the win in this game. So I think that's a pretty solid change. I hope that's here to stay. The other thing that changed here is you are now able to play as all of the Blackout characters. So if you go and check out your characters, you can now play as Mason, Woods, Menendez, and finally Reznov. So that's all of the things that were actually changed in this patch, but in the patch notes, they also let us know that they are making some adjustment to many other things throughout the game, but they may not change until the actual release of Blackout in October. So the first thing that they said is item pickup proximity. Basically, what they're trying to do is make it so you don't have to be directly looking at an item to pick it up. So for example, if there's a gun laying on the ground, maybe you can be looking 3 feet to the right, but if you still press square, you can still pick up that weapon. They have to get this exactly right, because if they don't, it can be annoying. You could be trying to reload a weapon, and instead of reloading the weapon, you pick up another weapon in the room. I think that would be pretty annoying. So I think they really have to be careful when changing that one. The next thing is footsteps. So as far as footsteps go, the main thing that they're working on here is to make it so that your footsteps and your teammates' footsteps aren't louder than the enemies. I think the biggest thing here is your teammates' footsteps, because if you're playing quads, it's very hard to hear your enemies because of how loud your teammates' footsteps are. So maybe if they just decrease your teammates' footsteps by 50%, that really might help you with that. But speaking of which, another adjustment to footsteps that they are making is to the perk Awareness. Basically, they're leaving it exactly the same for solos, but if you're playing with a team, if you pop Awareness, your teammates' footsteps will be even quieter. So it almost gives your teammates dead silence so that you can't hear them. It doesn't work like dead silence, but it will for you, if that makes any sense. The next thing I found interesting is what they call the obituary, and basically this is just the kill feed. Basically, I guess a lot of people are complaining that there's not a big enough notification when one of your teammates gets downed, so people are requesting that there's more of a notification, but I guess Treyarch is saying that they didn't get everything done with the kill feed that they wanted to before the beta. So they said expect some big changes with the kill feed come the final release of Blackout, and I'm really interested to hear what they do with that, because I thought it was pretty good as of right now, but if they have big plans for it, I'm really curious to see where they go with that. So the next change that they're making is actually going to be happening to the beta later this weekend, and it has to do with wingsuiting. So as of right now, the fastest way to get to a location is to jump out of the helicopter right away, dive straight down, and then level out and fly to wherever you want to go. Literally, you can pretty much get anywhere on the map doing it that way. But the problem is if you do it that way, you actually fly faster than the actual helicopters. So apparently they are adjusting it so that you don't fly faster than the helicopters, but you can fly just as far, which I think is pretty fair. And the final change, and in my opinion, the most important change, and I hope they change this before the end of the beta, is the collapse. So what the collapse is the storm. So as of right now, if you've played a lot of Blackout, you may have noticed that whenever you enter the storm, no matter how far you are into the game, unless you are playing fast collapse, the storm, aka the collapse, only ever deals 1 damage to you. This means if you're in the end game, it's not really a big penalty for you to flank the guy through the storm. So as of right now, Treyarch has said that they are planning on making some adjustments specifically to the tick rate, the amount of damage that the storm does to players, especially in that end game. So personally, for me, out of anything on this list, that's the one thing I would really like to see change, because I hate that when I'm in the end game, when I'm 1v1 and someone flanks me because they decided to run through the storm. I don't really think that's fair, but I guess if that's the strategy that Treyarch wants us to use, that's something we'll have to get used to. But it sounds like they are going to be patching it. They're going to make it so that's not a viable option in the end game. But the one thing I wanted to say before the end of this video is I am so impressed with the amount of things Treyarch is changing day after day. Every single day, we've gotten a new playlist. Every single day, they've made some tweaks and adjustments to drop rates, weapons, armor. You name it, they're adjusting it, trying to get Blackout to be absolutely perfect. And I am so impressed with that, and I really do hope that this support continues throughout the full release of Blackout on October 12th. If they do continue this, even if they just do weekly patches, updates, content changes, game modes, if they do weekly updates, I honestly think Blackout has the potential to be one of the, if not the best game that there is this year. And it's got some pretty good competition. Red Dead Redemption 2, Fallout 76, not even to mention Fortnite. But really, I am so impressed with the updates and how they are keeping on top of Blackout. I just really would love to see it continue. But guys, let me know what you think of these updates down in the comments below. Let me know if you would like to see some other things change, some problems you're having with the game. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And also, if you enjoyed the video, I would love it if you could hit that like button. And also, if you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date on all my Blackout, Black Ops 4 multiplayer videos, the best way to do so is hit that subscribe button and make sure you have notifications turned on. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, guys, peace out.
Paradigm.